authors. I'm Joanne Morrell, children's and young adult fiction writer and author of short non-fiction for authors. Thanks for joining me for the Hybrid Author podcast, sharing interviews from industry professionals to help you forge a career as a hybrid author, both independently and traditionally publishing your books. You can get the show notes for each episode and sign up for your free author pass over at the Hybrid Author website to discover your writing process, get tips on how to publish productively, and get comfortable promoting your books at www.hybridauthor.com.au. Let's crack on with the episode. Hello, authors! I hope you're all keeping well in whatever part of the world you reside and listen to the podcast in. Today's interview is with Cameron Sutter from Plottr, from idea to book Bible in minutes and visual story planning. And we chat practical use of Plottr from initial idea to completed outline, Storysnap, an exciting new AI-powered addition to Plottr, creating visual book Bibles in minutes, and instantly organising author information. How AI tools like Storysnap complement, not replace, an author's creativity, and Cameron's advice to writers about integrating these tools into their process, and much more. So in my author adventure this last month, because if you're an avid listener of the podcast, you'll see that I was taking a break over September. And we are now in October, so I am back. But yeah, it was a break from the podcast 100%. I didn't put any episodes out. Actually, that's a lie. I did do a couple of interviews in the last week of September. But apart from that, I really didn't have much to do with it at all. So I did get a break there, which is great. With the Hybrid Author, I conducted a few speaking gigs, so that was still part of the business. Wasn't completely a break altogether off working. I still was working casually at the Cellars, and I was undertaking some relief work as well, which, to be honest, it was nice. It was a bit of a nice change to rock up to work and be able to do the work and then come home and switch off, which is quite difficult sometimes when you work for yourself and you work from home and you're just constantly fitting things in around yourself. And sometimes that can be a blessing, and sometimes it can be a bit much and unable to switch off, and I think that's where I've been lately. But yeah, so the speaking gigs that I conducted over September were roaring success. I was speaking about the Discovering the Power of Podcasting session at Melville Libraries. Shout out Lorraine Horsley. Gorgeous little group there on a Saturday morning. They discovered the power of podcasting. It was a really good session, and that was great. I absolutely love going out and talking about podcasting. It's always been a joy, and I've got a lot of information to share, and I think people got something out of it. And it's always interesting to see who comes along, because you get people who are brand new, and then you've got people who are sort of mid-range. I also conducted a business startup success session at Byford Library, which was a bit of a smaller group. Shout out to Rebecca Lafar-Smith. Lovely to see you. Another friendly face who I know from the writing world, who lives up that way. It was great to see her. And yeah, that was the first time I'd ever conducted that session, and I think it went really well in terms of that, there was inspiration around business ideas and whatnot, so that was great. And the other gig I was part of was the Armadale Writers Festival, and I absolutely loved the Armadale Library and the team there. Shout out Bianca. Was amazing, and I was actually on the opposite side for this one. It wasn't an event that I had put together. It was for the Armadale Writers Festival, and I was interviewing Holden Shepherd from Page to Screen, talking about his experience of having his work adapted, but also him actually adapting his work, because he has been one of the screenwriters for Invisible Boys, his hit Stan series, and also talking about his new work, King of Dirt, which is absolutely wonderful read. Compelling read. I can put it down. I listened to the audiobook. I have the print book as well, but it was fantastic. And yeah, that's the first time I've done an in-person interview, and I've had Holden on the podcast before, so, knew him beforehand, and he pulls obviously quite a big crowd. And yeah, it was a good event. I was quite aware just of the time and the flow of stuff, but it went really well. He got asked heaps of questions, and I sold a couple books. He sold loads. But all round, it was a really interesting experience. And yeah, I was a little bit nervous actually for that one, because I hadn't done something like that before. In my mind, you think, oh, it's got to be a bit easier because you're just having a conversation, and that's definitely what it is. But you can just talk to someone and ask them questions, and you're sort of bouncing off each other. But I don't know, I felt like the audience was extremely close to us, and I did feel a little bit nervous. I don't think I came across it. It was a really, really good event. just in my mind, I thought, oh my gosh, I had that one split second when the mayor introduced us and opened the festival, and I had that one split second where I had the questions with me and everything, and I can talk just randomly, so it would have been absolutely fine, but a bit of anxiety beating like, oh my gosh, I've forgotten everything. I've forgotten my name. I've forgotten all that. And so, I wanted to share that because those moments can happen, especially when you're standing up in front of people, and it is a horrifying thought to think that you are just going to go blank. I might have gone blank, but as soon as it obviously kicked off, I was absolutely fine. There was that moment. Different experience, definitely very interesting. So I think that I do prefer actually being the one that's standing up there talking rather than the one that is interviewing. It was wonderful, really great. So I was very fortunate to have had those experiences and had those talking events. And I do have a few more coming up for this month if you are around and interested in the topics. Tuesday the 14th of October between 4 and 5, I am at South Perth Library and I am talking about discovering roadblocks in writing, which is part of their Uncover the Facts series. Writing can be exhilarating but also intimidating. Join us for a talk for writers and creatives where you'll uncover what's really holding you back. So in this talk, I sort of touch upon my author fears and how to overcome them. I talk about the kind of internal, external things that I have experienced as a working writer in the last 10 years. And most recently, my burnout. Like, it's actually a thing, and it is something that gets put in your way. So you have to talk about these things and you have to address them and you have to share, because people need to know that they're not alone on this author adventure. And yeah, it's really, really common as well. So looking forward to adding these new elements into my long, long list of fears and self-doubt and things that I've been absolutely riddled with since putting myself out there as an author. So if you're around then, I would absolutely love to see you. I am on Saturday, 18th of October, 10 to 11 a.m. I am at Morley Library talking Discover the Power of Podcasting. So if you're around that area and you want to know more about podcasting, please come along. Would love to see you there. And finally, again, Discover the Power of Podcasting. I am at City of Gosnells, October 20 for their Get Online Week in WA. And that's 5:30 till 6:30. So I hope to see you there. You can see all my events on my website, hybridauthor.com. I am also at the Big Book Market, which is run through the Totally Lit Festival in Fremantle this weekend, Sunday the 5th, and I will be selling my contemporary women's fiction book, The Writer, the Hairdresser and the Nurse, alongside my non-fiction books. Shout out Karen Cunningham, lovely Karen, we're going to be sharing a stall, so I'm really looking forward to just being involved in that and chatting to people who love to read. It's going to be a different event for me. Quite an all day thing. I think you're there sort of from like 9 till whatever it is. So it'll be really interesting because, as I said, I've done some market stalls last year and at the start of this year, a big one and a small one. And some of them were sort of Christmas markets and then the other ones and creative ones. And just, what was that other small one? The small one was just a standard market somewhere. And so it's interesting to see if that translates to more sales for an actual market based on books and people coming around who are interested in reading and specifically wanting to buy books. The other drawback with that is people say, oh, well, you're competing against fellow authors and stuff, but that doesn't bother me at all. Really looking forward to it. So I could have done a bit more, and I think I'm low on bookmarks and all that sort of stuff, but hey, I'm at a point where I'm just a bit chilled in all this, and I'll just go along for the ride and see what happens. So I'll let you know how that goes this weekend. And just back to my writing, which, as I said, is why I do all this in the first place and why I've taken a break, because if you've been listening, you have heard me say that I haven't been writing and I want to get back to that. My plan going forward is I have set a goal for October and I put it in my diary, and it's a 5-minute writing plan for the month of October. Now, 5 minutes, we can all do 5 minutes. We all have 5 minutes. Why would I set it to something that's so achievable and so low? Because even I know that I will be able to do 5 minutes. I've set something that's achievable because I need that right now. I need to feel like I'm achieving something. And also, I'm going to do more than 5 minutes. And that's just an absolute given. And I know because I've already started, which is great. And I'm doing it every day because I want to pick up a writing habit for every single day. Now, writing for me, I can do. I can just do as a job. I do have a writing work ethic, I guess, is the thing. I can sit down and I can do a project and I can apply myself to it, but I need to build the skill, and I want to, people say, oh, you don't have to write every day. I want to write every day. I want to have that in my life. I want to build that in there because I've lost it somewhere along the way, and it's really important to me. And what else is really important is just me having fun with it. This is about me enjoying the creative process, getting back to why I love it, what it's all about for me in the first place. It's actually been quite difficult to switch the publishing mindset off, because initially thinking, right, you've got this idea, who's it for, where's it going? No, none of that. Just writing this for the sake of writing it, maybe not even having a publishing goal at the end. So things have really, really sort of changed for me. And I've decided on a project, because I actually there's at least 3 or 4 that I've been hanging around. So they all seem quite important for different reasons. One acts as a catharsis for me, and as a second in series, it makes sense to do first because it is the sequel to The Writer, the Hairdresser, and the Nurse. People keep asking me for it. They are waiting. So there's that. Or there is a YA that's been hanging around since like last year that is really quite important to me as well. And then there's this really fun, like massive project out of all of them that I had thought about. It keeps coming back to me as well in 2021. I'd done like a dictation for it at one point, and I went back to read it. And it's so funny if you do dictate, because there's better tools these days, but it was many years ago, and some of the words just don't even make sense, and it's just a bit crazy. But the bones are there, and it's really exciting. You know, I was watching some stuff over the weekend, and I've watched everything that I really like, and I thought, I need something. And I thought, well, you know, I'm going to go and write the thing that I want to watch. It's like they say, write the thing you want to read. I'm doing that. So yeah, I'll let you know how we go for the best of my abilities. But I've also made a decision that I will be taking a long break from the podcast after I release the last few episodes. And when I hit 200, I will not be releasing anything else for the rest of the year. And going forward next year, we will see.
Thorn Creative, where beautiful websites for authors are brought to life. No matter what stage you're at with your writing, your stories deserve a dedicated space to shine. Whether you're just starting out or have a bookshelf full of bestsellers, your website is the hub of your author business, binding everything you and your books offer together. Thorn Creative can nurture all aspects of redesigning your old site or start afresh from the initial design. They can provide ongoing hosting and maintenance to marketing your books online, saving you time, money, and stress trying to wrangle your site yourself. An author website built by Thorn Creative can easily direct readers to your favorite retailers, your publisher, or simply set you up to sell to them direct. The options are endless. Thorn Creative have worked with many authors across all genres and know what goes into good, functional working author websites to sell books. Head on over to thorncreative.com.au/websites for authors to read author and publisher testimonials and to see what they offer and some of the sites they've created.
Sutter is a YA sci-fi author, software developer, and the inventor of Plottr, the popular visual planning software for books and stories of all kinds. An avid reader who is endlessly learning how things work, his life's mission is to help writers write more powerful stories and to encourage everyone to read the classics. Cameron lives in Oklahoma City with his wife, 6 kids, and several furry friends. Wow, welcome to and Plottr back to the Hybrid Author Podcast, Cameron.
Hi, Joanne. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, we're thrilled to have you. We've had Troy Lambert on in the past. I think that was back in January 13, 2023. He was episode 57, and we're almost at 200 episodes now. So it was a little back there. He was
Congratulations.
Fantastic. Yeah, talking about Plottr, and of course you've been a valued sponsor of the podcast as well, but we're absolutely thrilled to talk to you, who is the creator of the tool, an author as well. Can you tell us, how did you get into writing and then go on to develop such a fabulous program?
Yeah, sure. So I'll tell you the short version of it. I've been writing on and off my whole life. In first grade, I remember the teacher, so I was writing my first story during English class, and the teacher kind of came over and whacked me with the ruler on my hands, like, stop writing, and I always thought that was funny because I was writing a story, but she probably thought I was writing a note to the person next to me or something. But yeah, so I've been writing on and off. And so then in 7th grade, I wrote my first novel.
Wow.
And it took me a couple years, but I finally, I wrote it and then I've lost it. I have no idea where it is. I can't find the files, can't find the notebooks. Don't know
Oh.
what I did with it. It's a shame. But then, so I've been, some years I'll be out of writing and trying to do other things. And then back in college, I took a class by Brandon Sanderson
Mm.
about creative writing, and I started writing again. So after I wrote that one, and as I was writing the next book, that finally, I don't know, I didn't like my process. I was in this writing group at my day job where I was a software engineer. And my writing process, I just kept rewriting things and I didn't like it. And I was disorganized. And so I was like, you know what? Well, I'm a software engineer. I can make the ideal tool for me. And I saw I don't know, the threads of your story weaving together, like these different, yeah, just different threads that you could see and see what was going on at all times with each of the threads. And so, yeah, I was like, I'm going to build this tool. I can do it myself. And it's pretty cool because a lot of authors also feel the same way and their brain works the same way that they want to see the threads of their story. So
Yeah.
that's how it came to be.
That's amazing. No, I absolutely love it. And I don't like the whole Plottr Panzer definitions for writing, but I certainly started out myself by just writing and writing with no kind of direction. And then when
Yeah.
I did come across Plottr, I am now a plotter from using your software. I know. And I definitely think my work is a lot better for it and focused. But I also feel sometimes, yeah, it's definitely part of my process now for sure that I do the plot and then it saves time as well. And I love your templates that you put in there. So was
Yeah, the
that
templates people
ah,
love. But I'm
yeah.
somewhere in the middle actually. I'm not a full-on plotter.
Yeah.
I pants a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, yeah, same though, I think. And there is a term for that as well, but I fail to remember what that one is, sort of in the middle. Hybrid. We're both hybrid. There you go.
Right.
A bit of both. So yeah, I like that.
Exactly.
No, but that's fantastic. So anybody who did miss those previous episodes or whatnot, can you walk us through, how an author might use Plotter from, start to finish, from their first idea or anybody who's never kind of used the program yet?
Yeah, sure. It's hard to kind of imagine without being able to see it. But yeah, it's kind of like if you think of sticky notes or index cards on your wall, where you have different lines for each plot line. And so you can see the main plot line, the subplot, you can see character arcs all at the same time. And each one of them has a scene card or, an index card, whatever you want to call it, where you can add more details. And then you can move those around and drag them around. So it's really great for brainstorming or figuring out the pieces of your story as you go because maybe you don't know you have this idea for a scene in your head. Maybe it's the end, maybe it's somewhere in the middle, maybe it's the inciting incident. A lot of time, at least for me, they just come to me out of order, like, oh, here's a great scene. And so you can just put them down on this time. We call it the timeline, but it's kind of this storyboard. You can just put them down on there and then reorganize them later. And so being able to reorganize them is super powerful. Being able to see them visually and see what your character's up to and how they're changing and how the story is progressing, instead of having to keep 50,000, 100,000 words in your mind and what are the plot points, just being able to see it visually and simply
Mm.
just makes it so much easier for a lot of people. For the drafting part, and then lots of other ways you could use it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, yeah, there is. So can you explain to us as well what's a book Bible? What's your definition for that? I've heard of a story Bible, I guess, in screenwriting and things, but what's a book Bible? Is this one of your new tools that has been implemented into Plotter since, like AI and things?
well, so I've heard this term said in a few different ways. So there's book Bible, there's series Bible, there's story Bible. To me, they all mean the same thing. But Plotter is really powerful at helping you with staying organized and keeping all your information for the whole series in one place.
Mm,
So all your character sheets, all the places in your story, all the backstory, world building, magic systems, those kinds of things, they're all in one place for the whole series in one project. It's just so much easier to stay organized and
mm.
search and find what you're looking for and filter and sort and things like that. When you've written book one and you're working on book two, three, four in the series, that's another way. Whether you're a pantser or plotter, hybrid, somewhere in the middle, that's how Plotter is going to help you because you're going to have hundreds of characters and you're not going to remember all of them. And if
Mm.
you mess up things, your readers are going to email you and say, "Why'd you change this character's eye color? That was my favorite character. And I love that he had blue eyes," that kind of a thing. So getting those details right is important. And getting that book Bible, having a book Bible or a story Bible that is organized and easy to search and things is going to make your life so much easier when you're writing a series. And so to answer the other part of that, you mentioned AI. Plottr doesn't use any AI right now. There's no AI in Plottr. So if you're worried about that, we don't do anything with AI. But we've created this new tool that we call Storysnap, which is outside of Plottr, but it works with Plottr.
Right, okay.
And Storysnap will build your book Bible for you, or your story Bible, your series Bible. And what it does is you upload your finished manuscript and it will create a Plottr file for you and fill in all the details. So
Right.
it'll list out all your characters and all their, everything about it that it can find and their magic system, and it'll build the outline for you. And so it'll just do a super detailed book Bible outline, book summary for you in 5 minutes,
So it's kind
which
of
is
like,
super powerful.
so I'm getting my head around it. So the way that I
Yeah.
use Plotter, it's kind of like a backwards process almost, isn't it? I guess. Because
Yeah.
like we use Plotter to do all that and then write the books. But then I guess you're writing the book first and then using story, like putting it into Storysnap and then it's turning your book into Plotter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and so it's for the people that lean more towards Pantser or
Right.
that haven't been using Plottr
Mm,
throughout their writing career, and they've got all these books and all these manuscripts, or even just your first manuscript, and you're like, "Darn, Plotter's awesome. I want to be able to see it visually, but
mm.
that's a lot of work to get it all in there."
Yep.
And so this will do it automatically for you. So yeah, it's kind of a backwards process
Yeah.
if that's the way you go.
Yeah. So does it, will it show you, because Plotter sort of helps you, it gives you the structure and it keeps you on track. Will Storysnap show you plot holes and things from structure, or like if it's going to or is it just it's going to organize your characters and different things? Does it give a sort of a plot effectively from
Well,
that?
it doesn't, it right now it doesn't use any of the templates that people
Mm.
love to kind
Yeah.
of analyze your story,
Okay.
though that's something we're planning to build into it.
Mm.
But it does, there are a couple like customizable things where you can have it say, find some problems in my story, and it'll suggest things that this may be a problem, or this may be a plot hole, this may be a character inconsistency.
Mm.
But we're really trying not to, this is something that's really important to us, that AI, we're trying to find useful things for AI that don't take away from the important human parts that a writer needs to do. We're not trying to take your job or do
Mm.
better than you, or, we're like, that's a very important for us that we're giving tools that help, but not hurt authors, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you're an author yourself. Have
Yeah.
the plotter team sat down and obviously paid attention to the conversations that's been going on, or you've had concerns yourself as authors? The creative industries are worried, and there's lots of conversations, both negative and positive, towards AI, and been hearing it for a few years now.
Yeah.
So was this what you guys done? You sort of sat down and thought, how we can sort of help this, cause, I don't know, rather than
Yeah.
I like how you've done something, you haven't changed your initial program. I like how you've made something different to sort of coincide with that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that was definitely on purpose. People are worried about AI, and I think there's so many concerns that we can have for AI on a society level, and those are not. We shouldn't ignore those, I think. I mean, we saw what happened with social media. Everybody thought it'd be awesome, and it turns out it hurts a lot of people,
Mm,
if you don't use it right. And most technologies are like that. And so these fears about AI, maybe you didn't want to get into this, sorry, but yeah, I think we should pay attention to those fears and not use it in a way that could hurt people or make them less creative or make them do the parts that we need to do, the hard work that makes us better people. But at the same time, there's some things that we can't do that AI could do for us that would be really useful. And I think this is one thing that we found that could be really helpful for people. The other thing that StorySnap does is it does a virtual beta reader experience where there's a team of beta readers that will read through your book and it'll give you 5 different personalities, and they'll tell you in those personalities whether or not they liked it, the ending didn't land, this character didn't land, those kind of things. And it's kind of fun, and I think it's useful to get that beta reader feedback,
yeah, that's
virtual beta reader.
I was just gonna say, is it real people or is it pretend? Is it like a bot that's the beta reader? A virtual
Yeah,
person.
just AI personalities that
Yeah,
we've
right,
created.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I think you've thought of that, everything there. So how is this out now? Story Snap's out there now, and
Yeah.
people, yeah, can
Yep. You
go and
can,
find all this.
yep. If you go to storysnap.ai and there's a free trial, you can try out the beta readers thing and it works on a credit system. So there's no subscription or anything. It just you pay for the times you need to use it and that's it. So,
And does it link, like you said, does it link through to the Plottr software as well? Is that how does that happen or no?
yeah. So when you're building the book Bible, it'll generate a plotter file
Okay,
and
yeah.
then you can just download that and use it like you normally would any other file. We're not trying to lock you into Plotter with StorySnap though, and
No.
so you can just use you can download a Word document as well, and it has the same information. So
Yeah.
if you're not using Plotter, then you can still make a really good story Bible and have all that detail organized for you.
Mm. But like you said as well, and I sort of find, although I use Plotter now for pretty much that seems to be the process, I still think there might be projects where I just want to write and see how I go. And so I might go back and forth between certain things. So yeah, that's good where the tools feed into each other if you want to go one way for one or one way for the other. And people like integrated stuff as well. And Plotter
Yeah.
is it companion? I don't even know the word. Is it kind of companion with Scrivener as well? Can you?
Oh yeah, so
Yeah, I remember
yeah, it
that.
integrates pretty well with Scrivener.
Mm.
So you can export a Plotter file to Scrivener and then just start writing your book in a couple clicks. Or if you've already written the Scrivener file, you can upload that into Plotter and it'll put it all into Plotter and visualize it for you.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And how's the feedback been so far for everybody that's using Storysnap? And
Yeah, actually pretty good. There's always the concern about AI as is
mm.
it taking my book? Is it
Mm.
stealing my work? So we've been very careful about not letting it do that, where we do it in a way that our servers are talking to ChatGPT servers and it's in their terms and conditions that they can't train on
Right.
any information that we send that way. So we're not training on anybody's books, but the people that have used it are just, some people said, holy cow, that's a game changer. They
Yeah.
didn't say holy cow, they swore, but I don't say that. But yeah, some people are saying like, wow, that's really going to change how I write, and it's just going to make my series Bible so much easier and so much quicker. So
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's really clever, really smart, and really ethical how you've approached it and how you've gone about it. You know,
thank
you've
you.
got the coin on both sides as an author, as I said, and as a developer. You're probably very excited about these tools, but at the same time, you actually understand emotionally and firsthand what an author's experience with it as well, because there is a lot of concern and worry about it. And I don't know what the conversation is like in America at the moment with it all, but here in Australia, they're really jumping up and down about stuff coming out. Just,
Really.
oh, yeah, something was just sort of released, and it was almost saying, the authors want to stick with copyright. And so they should. They want compensated for their work. They don't want their works
Right.
being stolen and
And they
all that
deserve
sort of
that.
thing. Yeah, and I think someone just sort of bypassed that. They seem to just be more excited about the tools. They're not really thinking about everybody else. But I think it is going to get to a point where they're got, like you said, they're going to have to just have processes in place where they're being ethical about people's work and people get compensated for it because it is everybody's living at the end of the day. That's what.
Right. Yeah. And well, for some authors, they're using AI because like they were already releasing a book every 3 weeks or something like that. And that's a hard pace to keep.
Oh,
So for those authors, some of them, they're like, well, I can just feed all my books into it and it'll spit out books like mine and I
yeah.
can do one every day or something like that.
My God.
And, they're probably going to make money and that's great if that's the way that we want to run their business. But most authors I talk to, they want to do the writing. That's the
Yeah.
fun part for them. They don't want the AI to do that.
Yeah.
That's the part they like. And being creative, that's why I got into writing too. I want to create stories that don't exist. So yeah, there's a good way to use it, I think, and wrong ways to use it.
Yeah, I think that's the same with everything though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, there's always a good and a bad side, and people will use stuff good or they'll use stuff bad or
Yep.
whatnot. I definitely see the benefits of these tools and for quickness and fastness. And there's yourself, there's so much to having an author career and an author platform these days, and it's so much more than just the writing that you can get bogged down. So anything that can kind of help is great. But yeah, taking the writing writing is, yeah, not great. But I've found the more that I sort of play around with AI tools that I don't know, it's not stale, but it sort of feeds out the same stuff. And it's really just with its responses, it's the same. And I don't know if it's tuning into me asking the same questions about something, but yeah, I don't think it's amazing, and I'm not scared at all with it stealing anything from.
Good, yeah.
But no, I think that you have created something really special and really exciting. So with Plottr, have you got any future plans with Plottr, or you're quite happy, you guys? I know you upgrade all the time with certain
Yeah.
features
No,
and things like that. So,
we've got some exciting things coming actually.
Ooh, are you allowed to
Um,
share?
yeah, I'd love to. So probably by the time this is published, we're gonna have this new feature that's a family tree. So you'll be able to visualize your family tree or any organization. So if it's a military organization or even a love triangle, you'll be able to put on your characters on a family tree. It
Cool.
organizes them for you automatically, and you can have these cool backgrounds. So you could use it on your marketing website or in the back of your book and just make this really nice looking family tree so your readers can understand all the complicated
I need
relationships.
that now, actually, for a book. When's that coming?
The end of this month,
Oh,
actually.
good.
Yeah. So the end of August. So it'll probably be out by the time this is published. So
Fantastic. Yeah, I
we're
do need that for my current romance book. There's a family
perfect.
it's set in a vineyard in Perth, and there's a long dynasty of winemakers. And I just thought I need to do a family tree, so that would be great.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. We did it just for you. Just for you.
Oh, fantastic. And anything else coming with Storysnap, or this is it for now because it's brand new anyway?
It is brand new. I've got so many ideas for how we can make it better. So stay tuned because in the next little while we're going to be making lots of really cool things. But in both Plottr and Storysnap, we're not stopping. We've got so many ideas. We're also making a mobile app that is going to be really awesome to capture your ideas quickly. If you're standing in line for coffee or on the go or something like that, and you just have that idea, that brilliant idea for your story, we're just going to try and make it really easy to capture that so that you can put it in Plottr later.
That's
So,
cool. I do put all my ideas in there actually. Like there's just I just sort of label them as new projects and new titles. That's how I do it.
oh,
In there
interesting.
for
Okay,
later.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's really cool. Well, honestly, Cameron, that's always so exciting. And I love that you're so creative and have so many ideas. Are you writing at the moment, or are you, for now,
I am
it's
actually.
you
Yeah,
are?
I mean, it after making the tool for writers for a long time, I didn't write because I was focused
Yeah.
on helping writers. But I'm back to writing slowly, but I'm back to writing, and so I'm on chapter 8 of my current story. It's a sort of paranormal Christian satire book. I don't know
Wow.
what to call it yet, but it's
Hybrid
yeah, yes,
again.
exactly. Yeah, it's a hybrid book, and I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be fun. So.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. And are you using both tools to develop it, or how are you?
I don't use them at all. No,
You're
just
all
kidding.
right. Okay.
Yeah, heavily using both. Yep.
Yeah. That's good. Oh, fantastic. That's wonderful, Cameron. Well, can you tell our listeners, where can do they find your books, your work, Plotter, Storysnap, the whole lot?
Yeah, so Plottr is plottr.com. Storysnap is storysnap.ai. My books, I write under the name C. Lewis S, but it's not spelled like C.S. Lewis. It's the Lewis is Louis.
All right.
The C. Lewis S, that's where you can find most of my books. I've only got two published under that name and one under Cameron Sutter. I'm not really on social media much, but our Plottr YouTube channel, I appear there sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
not on social media very much, so it's hard to find me, but every once in a while I'll pop up.
Yeah, no worries. Is there any why you don't like social media? Do you? I'm not got the time.
Yeah, not really a reason. No, I just don't make the time for it, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just not good at posting on there.
Fair enough. You're very busy, 6 children.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
they keep me
insane.
busy, that's for sure. So
Yeah, along with the writing and obviously having a big development of software as well. So that's
yeah, I
amazing.
think I've got too many things going on up here. I just don't
Yeah.
have time to. What am I going to post? Nobody wants to listen to me anyway. So,
Oh no, I'm sure that's not true. But I love that. Like you've got so many ideas and whatever else, and it was just like you created something to organize it all and shared it with the world and helped everybody else that is like that too. So no, that's fantastic.
yeah, that's what I'm going
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, that's it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Cameron. That was fantastic. We're really excited to explore Storysnap and, of course, fans of Plotter over here. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Jan, for having me. This has been so much fun.
So there you have it, folks, the awesome Cameron Sutter from Plottr. If you're intrigued by Plottr or Storysnap, go check them out at Cameron's links. They're great programs, absolutely great programs. Very, very helpful. Next time on the Hybrid Author Podcast, we have Searching for Home, Writing Untold Stories with debut author Rose Lane. Rose Lane's writing is inspired by the untold stories of people and places. She has travelled to both London and Nepal as a nurse and has written for multiple publications on topics ranging from anti-war activism to music and disability awareness. The Last Tibetan Kingdom is Rose's first book and was selected for the 2017 hardcopy manuscript development programme at the Australian Writers' Centre in Canberra. Fabulous episode with Rose coming up next week. I wish you well in your author adventure. That's it from me. It's bye for now.
That's the end for now, authors. I hope you're further forward in your author adventure after listening, and I hope you'll listen next time. Remember to head on over to the Hybrid Author website at www.hybridauthor.com.au to get your free author pass. It's bye for now.